Good evening, everyone, and we call the Valley View School District Board meeting to order on Monday, October 24th. Ms. Campbell, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Member Perro, would you please read our mission statement?
Our mission is to empower all learners to be college and career ready and to develop, grow, and achieve as productive citizens.
Dr. Mitchum, agenda item?
Yes, President Pro Tem Hansen, I'd like to ask that the board approve the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote?
Member Campbell,
Yes.
Member Felice,
Yes.
Member Perro,
Yes.
Secretary Sikora,
Yes.
President Pro Tem Hansen.
Yes. Dr. Mitchum?
Yes, I'd like to ask the board to approve consent agenda items 5.1 through 5.5. 5.1, board meeting minutes, October 11th, 2016. 5.2, executive session meeting minutes, October 11th, 2016. 5.3, trips for Bolingbrook High School. 5.4, gifts for Tibbet Elementary. And 5.5, intergovernmental agreement with the Village of Bolingbrook for school resource officers.
Motion?
So moved.
Second.
Can I bring up a question about that? Okay, I do have a question about that. Field trips for Bolingbrook High School, I would ask that either be tabled or contingent upon a female athlete or female coach going along with the girls' team on their trip.
Does a motion to table need a second?
Yes.
Second.
Okay, and roll call vote?
Member Campbell,
Yes.
Member Felice,
Yes.
Member Perro,
Yes.
Secretary Sikora,
Yes.
President Pro Tem Hansen.
I have a question concerning the table. So, because of the timing of the trip and the next board meeting, am I correct in assuming that the board approves the trip contingent upon a female chaperone attending the field trip, or do we bring it back?
Is there going to be, when is the trip going to be? After the next?
10 days after the next board
After the
meeting.
next board
Okay.
meeting.
Within a week.
Okay.
All right, so that was
People
the,
are puzzled. Could we tell them just what we did? Because I see all these puzzled looks out there. Could they just tell them what we did? So it's like nothing under the cover.
Women's girls basketball team at Bolingbrook High School traditionally annually goes on a trip to Tennessee to play in a national tournament. Usually we have a female coach that accompanies them or sponsor. This year, we have 2 male coaches with 13 female athletes. So the board tabled that decision until such time that we find a female sponsor to go on the trip to Tennessee with the girls.
Okay, so we still have to return to the first motion and vote on the other 4 consent agenda items, 5.1, 5.2, 4, and 5. All right, any discussion there? Roll call vote.
Member Campbell,
Yes.
Member Felice,
Yes.
Member Perro,
Yes.
Secretary Sikora,
Yes.
President Pro Tem Hansen.
Yes? All right. Moving down the agenda, student and staff recognition. We have our Illinois State cross-country qualifiers coming forward now.
Qualifiers are from JJL, and introducing Tricia Rollerson, the principal of JJL. I'm sorry.
Good evening, members of the board, Dr. Mitchum, senior leadership. It is an honor to be here this evening in recognition of our cross-country qualifier, Miss Monica. With us here this evening, I have Chris McVeigh, one of our co-athletic directors, Coach Brian Simic, and Coach Peter Kuava. And Coach K is going to share a little bit about Monica and her accomplishment this season.
Okay, so believe it or not, Luke Hanzik does have a cross-country team. And so we're very proud of the fact that it's been built up over the last couple of years and that Monica is our first qualifier in, we're trying to debate how many years it's been. Do you remember last time Luke Hanzik was at the podium here? No, I don't. So we're it's been 8 years, we think. But we're very excited the fact that Monica qualified. And not only did she qualify, but at the state meet, she beat her personal record by, it was about 30 seconds. So she did a fantastic job. And she's a real leader on the team, and we're a team full of great leaders. The kids are not only excelling athletically, they're also excelling academically as well. We've had very few kids to be on the cut list for academics. We're very proud of the team. We look forward to the next couple years continuing to meet with you people at this time of year. And I'd like to say a special thank you to all these wonderful people here and my principal over there, Ms. Lockhart, who's allowed me to help with this, leaving a little bit early at sometimes for some meets that we've had. Just one. It was one. But it was fantastic, and it's really been a fantastic season. Congratulations, Monica.
Have her come and shake our hand. Congratulations. Good job. Nice job. Awesome.
Thank you. And next, we're introducing Teresa Burrell, principal from Jane Addams Middle School.
Thank you. Good evening, members of senior leadership, members of the board, and members of the community. I'm Teresa Burrell, the principal of Jane Addams Middle School, and on behalf of myself and the principal, Mr. Ipama, we are honored to stand before you this evening to recognize some of the most elite student athletes that we have in Valley View. We will be recognizing 12 students this evening, and on average, we hold a GPA of a 3.85.
Wow. Woo-hoo.
So not only are we front runners on the cross country course, but we're also front runners in the classroom, and that could not happen without the leadership of our two coaches, Coach Thas and Coach Setchel. Mr. Thas will be recognizing our student athletes this evening.
So it's I think it's a statement to where our program is at right now, that we got 12 kids to the state meet, and that was a bit of a disappointment. Our goal this year was 20, and unfortunately our girls team finished 4th. They got edged out by a Woodridge team that ran out of their minds that day, and we just had a little bit of rough luck. But our girls did manage to go forth, and we did get 2 girls to the state meet. Our first girl, she qualified for state last year, and she qualified for state this year despite she was injured at sectionals and still managed to finish 5th overall at the sectional meet. We are going to very much miss her next year. She is a wonderful kid, and that is Miss Jane Villagran. All right, our second girl could not be here. Now for the boys. I want to just say real quick with the boys team. We've now been doing this 13 years. This was our 13th season doing this, and we at probably about 3 weeks in, they released the sectionals, and I sat all the boys and the girls down, and I said, listen, we've been doing things one way for the past 12 seasons, and we need to beat one good team. The top 3 teams make it to state, and we need to beat one good team to make it to state. And you know what? We need to up our game. We need to go faster. We need to be better. We need to work harder at our practices. And I said, you know what, guys? This might not be what you signed up for. Maybe you just wanted to come out and just run with your friends and have fun. And if you want to just say, hey, I want to just run with the easier group, that's fine. I'm not going to think any less of you. And as a girls team, as a boys team, every single one of those kids, not one of them came up to us. They worked harder at every single practice, and I can honestly say that we set some very difficult goals for them this year. And in 13 seasons, I have never been more proud of the way that a group of kids have practiced and pushed themselves beyond the limits they could do. This was a tough year. We didn't have a number one guy. We didn't have a number one guy who's going to go up there and finish in the top 5. And we had to concentrate on pack running, which meant finding your group, getting together, and doing that. So it was a really special year because not only did the boys qualify for state, but we beat one of the best teams in the state to get there. We beat Shorewood this year, which we haven't done in 13 years to get there. So that was a pretty big deal. So right now I'm just going to introduce the boys who could make it. Our first runner is an unbelievable 400 runner, and I'm glad I convinced him to come out and do the 2-mile, Mr. Jaden Matlock. Our next runner is he's one of the smartest kids I know, and great sense of humor, great kid, really in touch with himself, and really good with pushing himself on a regular basis, Mr. James Morissette. I have to take 1 second before I introduce these next 7. These are the 7 runners that actually ran at state. I do have to say thank you to. Okay. I do have to say thank you to a few people. I have to say thank you to the 2 coaches, Coach Paul, Coach Sullivan up at the high school for working with our kids on the off season. Most of these kids ran over 100 miles over the summer. And I also have to say thank you to Miss Tumulty over at Independence, because without her, I don't know if this first guy would have come out for the team this year. We convinced him to come out, and man, it's a good thing we did. He is a 6th grader, run at the state meet, just breaking records and kicking, well, whatever. Okay, Mr. Julius Wardlow. This next guy, he made a big sacrifice to come and run for us at sectionals, which I am very, very grateful that he did, because the last 10 meters, he just about fell through the finish line and beat one kid from Troy, and that one kid from Troy is the one that allowed us to get second. So this is Mr. Julian Nangari. another one of these track guys that that we got to come out for cross country. He is an incredible runner. At any given time, he is probably the fastest sprinter on any cross country course, and just an awesome kid, Mr. Julian Flores. I think out of anybody from the beginning of the season to the end of the season, this person, this next boy, went the furthest. He's got his cousin who was a state qualifier for us years ago, and he just wants to beat his cousin's record. And your cousin was really good, so I want you to try and do that next year too. Okay, this is Mr. Victor Segundo. In 13 years, this next boy, he has my favorite nickname of all time. The boys dubbed him Andy Tryhard because he works harder than anybody else at every practice. He is an awesome kid. We're lucky to have him, and we're lucky to have him next year, Mr. Andrew Stone. Probably the funniest kid, I would say, on the team. He makes me laugh on a regular basis, and an incredible runner, Mr. Arturo Rodriguez. Before I introduce the last kid, I do want to say that all of the kids, save for one of them over there and Jane, they are all 6th or 7th graders. They are all coming back next year. We are unfortunately losing one runner who has been a 2-time state qualifier for us. He is a wonderful kid. He was a great team captain this year, and I don't know if this team could have done it without his leadership, and that is Mr. Matthew Ballas. Thank you very much.
Parents, if you want to come and take some pictures, you're welcome. Get your paparazzi. We should take a picture of them taking a picture.
Yeah.
All righty. Thank you very much, guys. All right, moving down their agenda, we have a liaison reports. Any liaison reports to my right?
No.
No? To my left?
I got a brief update in regards to Wilco. I put with Shelley for each of the board members and senior leadership just a brief recap and summary of Wilco. It breaks out by demographics. It also breaks out 2016-17 enrollment and also how many students are in each of the programs. Just real quick, Plainfield 202 has 400 kids this year at Wilco, and Valley View has 386. And then there's a serious drop-off after that for the other remaining districts. So one interesting point is that the male-female ratio at Wilco, it's 51% male, 49% female, which is an interesting trade because the female component has drastically gone up in the last couple of years. We did have our board meeting this last Tuesday. And just a brief update in regards to the construction project. The inside punch list has been completed, and we're on track still for end of November for everything to be done. So that's a great thing. They're also going to be adding in the curriculum a construction project curriculum class, and it's going to be given time equivalency towards your apprenticeship. So it's a great opportunity. Last thing is Wilco has their traditional Thanksgiving dinner on November 2nd, and It is serving from 11 a.m. till 12 p.m. It's $8 per person, and it's a very nice dinner that's cooked and prepared and served by the students at Wilco. So if you have an opportunity, call, make reservations, and come check it out.
I'm going to announce the student liaisons for the school board from the Bolingbrook High School. These students applied for this position. They went through an interview process with their building leadership. I think some of them twice. I'm not sure about both buildings, but I think at Bolingbrook they went through 2 rounds of interviews. And then we met with them. Liz and I met with them today at Bolingbrook, and her and Dan met with the Romeoville students today to interview them. And the Bolingbrook students who were selected were Nicole Walker, who is a junior, Sarah Gebbia, who is a senior, Kazim Nayaz, who is a sophomore, and Antonio Olea, who is a junior. So congratulations to those students. They really stood out amongst the other applicants.
In regards to Romeoville High School, myself, I won't speak for Ms. Campbell, but I'm sure she echoes the same thing. Thank you to Mr. Kinder and Ms. Smith for taking the time today. One thing that I found very impressive with the 12 applicants that we interviewed today, 7 of them, I think 7, Derek, have been in Valley View since early childhood. And that's a true testament to Valley View. These kids are amazing, not will be. They are flat out amazing. They're busier than anybody in this room between jobs and AP classes, and I think the fewest groups that they were involved in, I think, was 5. I mean, they were just involved in every club, from athletics to student government. It just never ceases to amaze me. So it's a credit to Valley View. It's a credit to Romeoville High School. But the selection process was extremely hard because any one of them could represent very well. So we were happy to announce that the board liaisons from Romeoville High School will be junior Angelica Mullen and senior Waleed Elanani. And then as support and alternates to that, in case there's a conflict with their very busy schedules, we'd like to congratulate Miss Olivia De La Rosa, who is a senior, and then Burley Johnson, who is also a senior. So congratulations to them, and Liz, thank you for letting me be a part of that at Romeoville. It was an honor. So, and thank you, Derek, and everybody at Romeoville.
Thank everybody for serving. Member Perot and Member Felice, and I was just glad that we chose to do this. I got this idea, not me, from a National School Board Conference back some years, and I think I brought it to this board, and another thing that came back to my mind is serving. I just believe God made us all to be here for serving in whichever role that we are in. And so what came back to my mind again today as we were going in all the community service hours that these young people are given, and I want this board to consider once again to look at that as requirement for graduation. I know that's a requirement in Chicago Public Schools and other areas which we think are, less affluent or whatever the case may be. But I feel if these kids can give of themselves, and we have all these students who are giving of themselves, I would like this board to consider making community service a graduation requirement.
Any other liaison reports at this time? No? All right. Any audience participation at this time? State your name and address where you're from.
My name is Olga, and I have a kid he's going to 4th grade.
Can you give us your address where you're from?
The address?
Town.
The town. I'm in Bolingbrook.
Okay.
Okay. And my son goes to the Oakview school. And I went to visit him this Monday, the last Monday. And I see the size of the group is like bigger than I expect. Because I asked him like how many kids are in your class, and he say 31. I asked for another kids from another schools, like how many kids are in each classroom, and most of the classrooms are like 21 to 25, and I think Oakview have like more students than any school, and I know maybe it's hard because it's like in the middle of the year or we start the school year. But I don't know if that can be break out and bring another teacher to the school, or get something like after school. I'm worried because for math this year is really hard. I try to help him to homework, but I try to explain, and he's like, "Mommy, you explain different than the teacher, and I don't understand you." And my thing is like, I think he's doing the base for high school. Maybe if I can help him right now, I can imagine how it's going to be in high school for me to help him. Especially because he's coming from a school which is bilingual. Now he's in English, like full time. And I think he have a different necessities than the other kids. So that's my concern. I don't know if I'm coming to the right place. I'm so nervous, sorry.
No, you're doing good.
But I work with a teacher. She was a teacher, and she said, if I go to the principal, maybe he can do like that much because he's not in his hands. So she recommend me come this meeting and tell you guys what I'm worried about it.
Thank you.
And that's my concern. I have like some of the papers from last year, the math exam. For reading and writing, he's really good. But for math, it's a little down. And I have some other papers, which is from this year, and it's been really hard. So I asked the teacher, like, if they have something after school, and she said that school doesn't have it. So I don't know if it's like, I think each group is like 31, 33, 32, and 33. And from other schools, it's like 21, 25. So I think it's the biggest number. And I don't know if it can be like breakdown or something like we can do about it, or if he can get transferred to another school which is more, less kids, so he can be like more, my word is math. That's the biggest thing. So, I don't know.
First of
Ma'am.
all, we'll go, thank you for sharing with us, and you don't ever have to.
If you can
feel
leave your name and phone number on this piece of paper and give it to Ms. Casey, we'll be in contact with you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Any other audience members, stakeholders, participation? All right. Next, action reports. Mr. Gazzafi? Or is that?
Oh,
over?
I have no
Over?
report for
Okay.
superintendent.
Did we remove 9.1?
Yeah, that's what I was referring to.
9.1.
9.1.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yes, I'm requesting approval as presented of resolution number 1561, approving agreement involving board member Sikora assisting with track meets at Bolingbrook High School.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote?
Member Campbell?
Yes.
Member Felice?
Yes.
Member Perro?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Abstain.
President Pro Tem Hansen?
Yes.
We want to explain that also.
Yes. Member Sikora has been a long-standing member of the support staff for home track meets at Bolingbrook High School. since she's been a teacher and beyond, and I don't know, maybe 30 years or so. Since becoming a board member, there is a potential for a conflict of interest as a result because she's being paid. However, as long as she's being paid below $500 a year, all it requires is that it be approved by the Board of Education so that she can continue in her role as a timekeeper at track meets. So tonight, the board approved of her being allowed to continue as a timekeeper at track meets at Bolingbrook High School while currently serving on the board as well.
Okay, thank you. We have no action reports from Assistant Superintendent. Action reports from Mr. Grzoppi.
Yes, first one, 11.1, is the replacement of the chiller at BJ Ward Elementary. As the previous board meeting, we presented information about the need to replace the chiller. It had failed this past August, necessitating the need to provide a temporary chiller on site since August. We had 2 of the 3 compressors fail on this 18-year-old chiller. And according to ASHRAE, which is the American Society of Heating, Refrigeration, and Air Conditioning Engineers, the life expectancy of an air-cooled chiller is approximately 15 years old. So we are beyond that lifespan. The timeline to replace this chiller would be before this winter in preparation for a spring startup. And so we are asking you to approve the contract with Trane in the amount of $294,000 to replace the chiller system at BJ Ward Elementary.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Questions? Roll call vote.
Member Campbell?
Yes.
Member Felice?
Yes.
Member Perrell?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
President Pro Tem Hansen?
Yes.
Second action report, 11.2, is for request for purchasing of furniture for the new administration offices located at the Normantown Road Strip Center. As you know, we will be relocating there hopefully this January, and we do have a need to provide furnishings for approximately 80 staff members. And under the National Intergovernmental Purchasing Alliance, as well as the National Cooperative Purchasing Alliance, we are negotiated the best available pricing for furniture with discounts over 70% off of retail for our 26,000 square feet of office space that we'll be occupying. At this time, in order to place the order, we are asking you to approve the contract with Frank Cooney and Company. They are a local company that we've worked closely with over many years. The amount of the purchase is $341,432 for furnishing, installation, and delivery at the new administration center.
So moved.
Second. Any discussion?
It's a true turnkey, right? So that's everything. They'll get it all set up, installed, put together, whole 9 yards, right?
That is correct. We looked at a square foot price, it's approximately $13.15 per square foot. On average, it's about $16 is what they tell us, so we are coming in at a lower price point, if you will, on a square foot basis.
And Gary, did we check on the small chairs being more than the large desk chairs as to why that was?
Yeah, I did. They provided us the rationale that the fabric there is an upgraded fabric. It's antimicrobial, it's bleach cleanable, and so all of those chairs that are in the public spaces were upgraded, if you will, to that fabric to allow those chairs to have a longer lifespan, if you will, because they will be used in a more not condensed, but
More of an open setting for the public?
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So again, scrubbable. They cannot be punctured by pens, and so that's why they're a little more expensive.
Okay,
And the
thank you.
longevity on it is then
Yeah, longevity for all of it. We did ask that question. They're telling us it's a 25-year lifespan, which certainly coincides with the length of the initial term of the lease.
Any other questions? Roll call vote?
Member Campbell?
Yes.
Member Felice?
Yes.
Member Perrell?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
President Pro Tem Hansen?
Yes. Action reports from Mrs. Hawks.
Thank you. This evening, action report 12.1 is the consolidated action report for certified and classified personnel. We're seeking your approval on 23 items for certified personnel, 34 for classified personnel, and 1 for certified administrative personnel.
So moved.
Second. Roll call vote?
Member Campbell?
Yes.
Member Felice?
Yes.
Member Perrell?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
President Pro Tem Hansen?
Yes. All right, we have no superintendent's information report.
No report.
Legal services?
No report.
AFT. Valley View office sent an email that there was no report. Valley View Council? Nothing report. All right. Any old business? Any new business before the board? At this time, any questions from the public on decisions that were made? All righty. Any announcements by the board?
Yes, our next board meeting in November will be, before the board meeting, will be our curriculum and academic committee. We'll be meeting any teacher or staff member that has any questions or concerns about curriculum and academics. Please contact Mrs. Sikora or Mrs. Perrell, the two board members that run that committee. So please let us know if you have any concerns.
Just with today being National Principals Day, I think it was. So shame on you, assistant principals and deans, if you didn't get your principals something today. But thank you to all the principals out there, and appreciate your efforts, and keep the ship righted, and keep it moving in the right direction. But thank you to principals and their staff.
I did work very hard making candy. And what kind of candy was that I made? Yeah, caramel. I made some caramel and delivered it to their to some of the buildings. And I wrapped them all
and
too.
you wrapped them all too.
Same ones that Renee makes, I think? Very close to it. Yeah.
All right, any announcements by administration?
Yes, I would like to announce that the Illinois Association of School Boards recognizes board members for their time and effort they devote to IASB leadership activities and service to the public education community. Points are earned by attending division meetings, governing meetings, and legislative leadership programs, as well as holding positions of leadership with the association. A designated number of master board members' points are assigned to each event, activity, or position. Master board members receive special recognition at the IASB Fall Division Dinner Meeting, and I'd like to congratulate member Liz Campbell for being a master board member for the IASB.
No,
Just wondered.
Member Perot is a level 1 board member. We need to, that's it. Thank you.
Okay. Any other announcements by administration?
No.
Okay. Any announcements by the public? All right. Then we are adjourning the meeting. Oh, motion to adjourn, yes. We're
So
adjourning
moved.
with a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And the meeting is adjourned.
What is this?
Looking at all yeah, well, this is the first part of it, because
I'm probably not